Do you remember that?
Yeah, I
What
do.
did you see?
When I left that vehicle, I saw somebody who had nearly died.
Wow.
And that alone almost killed me on the inside.
Wow.
And I remember like going to print the paperwork and just being like, what the fuck are we doing? This is not what we want to be doing with our life. It was profitable, it was fun, it was exciting, but it wasn't who we were. It was just to play into the role of following that journey of like hoping to get, at least in my mind, hoping to get rich and change the world through that somehow. But what I really noticed is that we were lacking like fundamental things that were against our own principles. And that is what struck me in that moment. And then when I came back to the vehicle, seeing you like basically literally with a percentage of life left within you, you just like passed out on like literally I'm like, how's this guy gonna work? Like there's no way we're going to work today. This is crazy. And then I came back, I was like, yeah, he asked me the question like, where's the paperwork? I just looked him in the eyes. I'm like, we can't do this anymore. We're not doing it. And then as there was like a jolt of lightning that went through his entire spine, and he was like, "Oh my god!" He's like, "Kian."
I opened up like this. I did this.
Yeah. He stretched back, and then we hugged, and we spent the rest of the day like writing out what we want to do with like the rest. Like
we went to a Tim
next bit of our
Hortons.
life and stuff like that.
Wow.
We went to a Tim Hortons, and I was wired. I was like, dude, our life is like a blank canvas. It was the first time I moved out. I left my girlfriend at the time. This is the first time I'm not in school where someone's dictating to me like what my next step is. I'm like, dude, blank canvas. I'm like, Ken, what do we do, man? He's like, okay, draw this little image of you with like a okay face, and like let's look at everything we have. And then I draw this image with a smiley face, like a stick man of you, and draw everything you want, like this, that, like finances, relationships, health, the basics. And we were going off, but basically,
was this before or after you guys had listened to Your Wish Is Your Command?
After.
This is after.
Okay, so you'd already had that
times.
sort of within you. Okay, just
100%. That's a really good point. Is like a lot of this was based off Kian's fundamentals, which he'll tell of. He's been to gin events. He was opened up. He was like he saw a lot more than I had at the time. I had been to one gin event before, and that I didn't even know that existed. I remember my first major event. I was like, what? Like people could like be like nice to each other. Like people were like hugging each other and like, there's a lot of cool people doing big things. Right. And I was like, this is crazy. And this was in 2016 that we had moved out to, I left school, left my girlfriend, left home for the first time, all this stuff. And it was 2016 where we were like, okay, we're not doing this anymore. So what was running through my head was the main thing for me was like, okay, if I'm not doing things for the money, right, then everybody says do what you're passionate about. So basically, this was after, I'm skipping a little bit, that decision was after I came back from a gin event. It was the 2016 Cancun gin event. That's where I met Cameron and Avery. And we had Technotutor before then, but we just like, I forget even how we really got it, but that's how we were kind of connected, me and Cameron, but we've never spoken yet at that time.
Right. Okay.
But I remember meeting you and Avery and a couple other guys, Gavin and things like that at that gin event. And it was just like a week. I was just there to have fun. Right. And just like, oh my gosh, like Cancun, like it was the nicest resort I've ever been on in my life. But there was something about you guys that was so keyed in and so certain about what it took to actually change the individual. And how, if we do that one by one, that will reflect the change in our world. Not in some, because I was all into like energy and like, you just have to smile at enough people and that will change the world. And you just have to like open your heart to people and just love. And you guys were like, no. How does that make sense in reality? I was like, oh shit, I don't know, dude. Like, what are you asking me that? That's not for me to figure out. And you're like, yes, it is for you to figure out. Because if you don't figure it out, who's going to do it? And then I was like, oh, damn. And